Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Patricia Stuart of Patricia Stuart Originals. Okay, today I'm going to play around with creating something interesting with your paper. In this case, we're going to be using mixed media paper. It's heavier than regular cardstock. And for what I'm going to use it for, it only seems to work on the mixed media paper. I'm going to be using something called Infusions. It's a powdered pigment that once water hits it, it begins to do what it does. Okay, and I'm going to start by pulling a soft print because the pigment creates various colors inside of itself. It has these colors, and so we don't need a bold print, but I'm going to pull very soft print using Liquitex Basics Soft Pink and Liquitex Unbleached Titanium. It's almost like a cream color. I want something light, and you want a thin coat, nothing heavy. I'm using 9x12 gel plate and my 6-inch brayer. Here we get a nice soft thin layer. And I'm going to pull it, the mixed media paper, and I usually buy a very large pad of mixed media paper, and then I cut them down to whatever size I may want to use them. It's more economical for me to do that. I'm not sure how well this would do with cardstock. I've not tried it with cardstock, but here you get a nice clean pull. Okay, and so with that background in place, I'm going to sprinkle. I have them in 3 colors. This is terracotta. I'm just going to sprinkle, and this is very fine pigments. You don't want too much in one place. You just want to kind of sprinkle it. And I'm going to try another color here. It's like a navy blue. And you just lightly sprinkle it. It's very easy to use more than you need. Okay. Then I'm going to sprinkle it by spraying some water. And see what happens. As you spray water, it moves. And you see bursts of color, you see movement. The mixed media paper can take wet and dry work. And so I like the movement that this makes. Now once you do this, you have to lay it aside and let it dry. But the more water the more movement. I think it's pretty cool. You can come when it's finished drying, and you can do mark making on top. You can do collage work on top, but this makes for a nice background. So I'm going to put this aside and let it dry. Here is one that I did earlier that's still a little wet in the center, but it is drying. I don't really need the puddle in the center. And so this is what you're looking at. And it makes for a nice background. Another suggestion, suppose you have a print that you did, whether it's a ghost print or it's a regular print, and you just don't like how it's come out, or you're like, what am I going to do with this print? Mind you, these are just tips on something that you can consider when creating backgrounds. So here's something I pulled up, just randomly playing around, but I need to do something with it. I don't like tossing prints. And so one of the things that I can do is to pull out my pens. I have some Micron art crayons here. And I like these art crayons. Had them for a while. They feel waxy, like a crayon. They're very rich in color and they go on nicely. It's called Art Crayon. And so I'm going to do some mark making. And I'm going to do it where there is different colors in different areas. You know, if I want to come in with a circle here, I randomly want to do something like that, and I come over here. If I want to stick to circles, and I come over here with that. The point is, we don't want the same colors everywhere in the work. I'm going to give a variety of color here. Let's see what other colors we can use. These are very nice, soft, easy to go on. And you can roll them up as you need, like roll them up like a lipstick. roll it down. I'm just going with some circles here. Some no rhyme or reason. And this box gives me an array of colors. I haven't even opened all of them. This is one that wasn't open. And I could come over this again. So you get the idea. We're just marking up the paper. It's a print that we didn't particularly care for or thought that there was anything that can be done with it. And so we try to create what's not there. And once we do that, we get our colors everywhere. Then we can go in with a larger marker. I'll go in with Posca. In black. And randomly make some other marks. Just random marks. And it's somewhat, when I do this, I feel it reminds me of my childhood. I did a lot of doodling and scribbling and playing with crayons and whatever I had that was available. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my Posca colors. Making all kinds of marks, lines. It's almost like you're just doing anything that comes to mind. No thought about how you're doing it. That's the fun part, that you're not thinking about it at all. Shapes, lettering. What other color we can do. We can do numbers. As long as you don't have the same color and the same all over the paper. Okay, so after that is done, you want to try to now create something that does not exist with it. We have all these multiple colors going on. And so I'm going to take a white pen and let's see if I can carve out something. So I'm going to go with a flower pot. And you can make one. And this is just to sort of map it out. I'm going to have some flowers coming out, and the white pen just allows me to envision what's not there. Let me see if this pen is. I'm going to make flower. It's just so that I know what is there. And it will take shape once we go around it, and we're going to mark off the negative space, and then we'll see exactly what we're looking at. Okay. So I don't know if you can see it. Here is the vase, and then I have some flowers tips coming out. And so I'm going to block off all of the negative space using golden fluid acrylics. Well, actually, no, I'm going to use some gesso. Acrylic gesso. And let's start to mark off our space. And I'm going to do that, and we'll come back. Okay, so I marked off my vase with the white pen. I marked off where I wanted some florals, and then the rest was negative space all around it. And I decided to use gesso, acrylic gesso, to color in the background. And here's an example of some others. Earlier today I had some prints. I was playing around with some pigments and playing around with a couple of other approaches to pulls, and they didn't come out the way that I'd like. So I figured that I would do some negative space art. Here's another one. And I use a bit of stenciling and mark making on all of them to create something different. And so that's the fun of playing around with negative space, taking the print that you have that you don't particularly care for or it didn't come out right, and so what do you do with it? And so we can create something totally different, marking off what your subject is and then using white gesso around it, and it produces something totally different. Whereas you could see in here the print that didn't really come out well, color-wise or otherwise. And then these are dry. These were the pigment with this sprayed water and the movement that came. And so I may end up doing some collage, turning this into a collage piece. And here was the other one. And I like the movement. As you could see, that when those particles in the water meet, and they start to break up and you start to see the colors forming and movement. And I really saturated these pretty much. So it was fun playing around with those pigments. So perhaps you'd want to try your hand at some negative space artwork, and the color that you see that came out was the crayons, the art crayons that I use were water soluble. So once the gesso hit it, it started to reactivate it again, but that's fine. You see color in the background. So keep doing art. Thanks for joining me today. Till next time.